Undoubtedly, Puranani, the supplements of the Vedas, with illustrative narrations, Saitihasani, along with the histories, Cha and Anagha, freed from all vices, Akhyatani, explained, Api, although, Adhitani, well read, Dharmashastrani, scriptures giving right directions to progressive life. Yani, all these. Uta said. Translation. The sages said, Respected Sutta Goswami, you are completely free from all vices. You are well versed in all the scriptures famous for religious life, and in the Puranas and the histories as well. For you have gone through them under proper guidance and have also explained them. Purport. A Goswami or a bona fide representative of Sri Vyasdev must be free from all kinds of vices. The four major vices of Kali Yuga are illicit connection with women, animal slaughter, intoxication, speculative gambling of all sorts. A Goswami must be free from all these vices before he can dare to sit on the Vyasasana. No one should be allowed to sit on Vyasasana who is not spotless in character and who is not freed from above mentioned vices. He not only should be free from all such vices, but must also be well versed in all the revealed scriptures or in the Vedas. The Puranas are also part of the Vedas, and histories like the Mahabharata or Ramayana are also part of the Vedas. The Acharya or the Goswami must be well acquainted with all these literatures. To hear and explain them is more important than reading them. One can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures only by hearing and explaining. Hearing is called Shravana and explaining is called Kirtana. The two processes of Shravana and Kirtana are of primary importance to progressive spiritual life. Only one who has properly grasped the transcendental knowledge from the right source by submissive hearing can properly explain the subject. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings from all Vaishnavas to speak something on this verse. This verse is actually very humbling, and it immediately says that, like for me, sitting on Vyasasana and speaking Bhagavatam, that on this verse, it's like complete mismatch, misnomer. And the irony is that I'm scheduled with this verse only. So, I'm giving a feedback on Vyasasana and speak about Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, it's a great privilege, but at the same time, it is a very, very important aspect, and it's purifying. At the same time, it's a very responsible seva. And that too, Srila Prabhupada said spotless. So this spotless aspect, before coming to Krishna consciousness, possibly this spotless aspect was not that much notified. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, we see this spotless aspect with the passing of years. It is like such a crucial thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that in a white cloth, the spots are very clearly visible. Similarly, the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, sannyasi, or the one who has renounced, and specifically who is kind of, especially in this setup, like here, apparently, if somebody new comes, you will see that I am sitting on Vyasasan and others are hearing. So the general tendency is to consider that one who is speaking is naturally elevated. But the spotless word creates all the huge difference, which gives the complete, it shows the complete picture that how the one who is speaking is has to be, somebody who is also following very nicely, as Prabhupada mentions, like here. And Prabhupada mentioned about this in Nectar of Instruction, first shloka, purport very nicely, elaborately on this. Prabhupada mentioned the conclusion is that one who can control these six items speech, mind, tongue, anger, belly, and genitals is to be called a Swami or Goswami. Swami means master, and Goswami means master of the go or senses. When one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society, but he must be the master of his senses. Unless one is master of his senses, he should not be called Goswami, but Godas, servant of the senses. Following in the footsteps of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, all Swamis and Goswamis should engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godas engage in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. They have no other engagement. Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaja said, Matir na Krishne parato svatova mitho vipadyeta grihavratanam adanto gobhir vishatam tamishram punah punah charvita charvananam. So those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of the senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna conscious, not by personal endeavor, by instruction from others, or by joint conferences. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the tube. So here Prabhupada gives some of the translations of Srimad Bhagavatam I found more relatable, because the unbridled senses drags one into the darkest region of ignorance, and they are madly engaged. So when one is like this, naturally he is not fit to speak Bhagavatam. That is the reason repeatedly I am feeling that I am totally unqualified to speak anything on this verse. And in purport, Prabhupada also mentioned that by one can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures by hearing, only by hearing and explaining. So this is, and Prabhupada mentioned this is more important than reading. So hearing this from bona fide sources and speaking or trying to explain will make one slowly understand this knowledge. So that is what we have to do. With this purport and shloka, as I was reading the purport, I was like kind of feeling more hopeless about this verse, that what will I speak? So then I found that today is also the disappearance day of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So I thought it's best that I take shelter of Acharya while speaking this. So let the Acharyas be glorified. So instead of speaking much on this shloka, which which is like very difficult for me, so I'll try to speak something on the pastimes of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So it is mentioned in Yadavachal Mahatmya. Ananta Prathamam Rupam Lakshmanascha Tathapara Balabhadra Tritiyastu Kalau Kaschit Bhavishyat Bhavishyati. It is mentioned Ananta Prathamam Rupam. So that personality of Godhead, who is the first expansion of Krishna, he expanded himself as Ananta, the Ananta Shesha. Then in Treta Yuga, he came as Lakshmana, Lakshmanascha Tatha Para. After that, he becomes Lakshmana. And then Balabhadram Tritiyeshtu. In the third time, he came as Balabhadra Mahaprabhu, Balaramji. And Kalau Kaschit Bhavishya. So that personality has come as Sripad Ramanujacharya. So we have four very major sampradaya. Actually, there are, for spiritual understanding, I was hearing one person sent me a detailed note also that there are 37, 37 sampradayas of spiritual line. So in that there are many like Shaktas, Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Ganapatyas, Shauryas, and impersonalist. So there are voidists, there are many streams. But in all these 37, though they exist very much, they cannot take one back home, back to Godhead. At the most, they can take them to Brahma Jyoti, but they cannot take them back home, back home, back to Godhead, or rather, they cannot make them enter in Vaikuntha planets. What to speak of Golok Vrindavan? So these four sampradayas are Shri, Brahma, Shanaka, and Rudra. These four sampradayas are there. So in that four sampradaya, we are from Brahma Madhva Gauriya Sampradaya. And Shri Sampradaya is the Sampradaya coming from Lakshmi Devi, from which we also take lot of inspiration. Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took inspiration from Shri Sampradaya, and in that process he took sannyas. And many deity worship standards, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also took from Shri Sampradaya, Shri Vaishnavas. So this Sri Sampradaya Vaishnavas, they are also extremely elevated. They are the Acharyas Sripad Ramanujacharya. And Sri Vaishnavas are famous for showing the whole world that how Vaishnavas should be related to each other. So in that Sampradaya comes a great Acharya, his name is Keshavacharya, who was a Yagik Brahman, not just a mere Yagik Brahman of like simply who do some yagya and all. He was so famous that in his from his yagyas, uh, Vishnu would sometimes appear. So that kind of powerful and potent Acharya he was. So this Keshavacharya, he was married to Kantimati, who is the sister of Shailapurna. So this Kantimati, this Shailapurna had two sisters. One is Kantimati, and the name of the other sister is Mahadevi. So Kantimati and Keshavacharya, they wanted a very like elevated personality as their son, a Vaishnava as their son. So Keshavacharya goes to this Vrindaranyam, which is on the bank of ocean in the present day Chennai, and in Parthasarathi Mandir, that is Parthasarathi, the famous Vigraha over there is Krishna being the charioteer of Arjun. That in that temple, Keshavacharya did yagya, and it is mentioned that from the yagya of Keshavacharya, Parthasarathi himself came out and offered him blessings. That somewhere it is mentioned that Parthasarathi said, "I will only come," and somewhere it is mentioned Parthasarathi mentioned that my expansion Baladev will appear. So, and Mahadevi also got blessed at that time from Parthasarathi. So both these sisters, Kantimati and Mahadevi, they begot two sons who were very special. So Kantimati's son was Ramanuja and Mahadevi's son was Govinda. And hearing this great news, Shailapurna came there to bless this two child, and he did all the samskaras for this two child. This all the sanskaras that happens for the like newborn babies up till this Churakaran samskar he did. And then Ramanujacharya was sent to this his like one very famous person at that time, but he was a Mayavadi, follower of Shankaracharya. So his name was Yadav Prakash, and he went to study there. However, Yadav Prakash, being a Mayavadi, he would always speak very elevated things. Like he was considering that he was speaking elevated subject matters from the teachings of Sripad Shankaracharya. And Ramanujacharya would often refute his commentaries, like his things. Ramanujacharya would often say, "No, that this is wrong, that is wrong." In this way, he would speak. So Yadav Prakash would sometimes say that this whole world is like Brahman, Sarvam Khaluvidam Brahma. He would speak like this, and Brahman does not have any Roop, gun, features, nothing like that. But Ramanujacharya would refute, no, Brahman is spiritual. So spiritual things do not have material Roop, gun, material attributions, but they have spiritual attributions, which is not visible. So in this way, he would refute. But on one particular day, when Yadav Prakash was speaking on a verse of Chandogya Upanishad, which is like, I'll just quote this verse, what he spoke. Yeah, so it contains, yeah, so it contains a description from Taittiriya Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad both. It's, oh sorry, Chandogya Upanishad only. Yeah, it mentions Kapyasyam. Yeah, this was, yeah, it was like, it says Kapyasyam. It was like the description of the eyes of Lord. So Shankaracharya interpreted it in this way that Kapi means a monkey, and monkeys have a red back. So the eyes of Lord, he was specifically mentioning the eyes of Ramchandra is like red, like the backside of a monkey. And Yadav Prakash was speaking this very casually. He was just lying down, this posture, and he was speaking. And at that time, Ramanujacharya was like a small boy. He was massaging the feet of this Yadav Prakash, and he said like this. And hearing this, tears started falling down from Ramanujacharya's eyes. And Yadav Prakash felt that something hot was falling, hot water was falling on his feet. Then he saw that Ramanujacharya is crying, so he was like, he felt so bad. He started, shedding hot tears, which comes out due to acute pain. So then Yadav Prakash said, "What happened?" Then Ramanujacharya said, "No, you are so misrepresenting the teachings of the scriptures," and he was giving such bad descriptions of this beauty of the Lord. So then Yadav Prakash said, "Okay, fine. If you are that educated, that elevated, you tell me what was the shloka." Yeah, so the shloka is Tasya Yatha Kapyasyam Pundarika Meva Akshini. So the eyes of the Lord is like Pundarik, that is Vishnu or Ramchandra, is like Kapyasyam. So then Ramanujacharya explained this Kapyasyam actually means that which blossoms by taking its energy from sun and water. That means it is lotus. So it is the eyes of the Lord is like Lord is lotus eyed. So this is the description, and this is how it should be interpreted. And actually, Yadav Prakash was very upset hearing this, and repeatedly Ramanujacharya was refuting Yadav Prakash. Yadav Prakash started conspiring. He felt that something needs to be done to Ramanujacharya to get rid of him. So then Yadav Prakash told his disciples that, see, we should make a plan to go to Ganga to take bath. So this was happening in Sri Rangam, and Ganga is like in North India. So they few of the disciples they also agreed, and Govinda and Ramanujacharya also agreed, and they also all came towards this North India to take bath in Ganges. And one day, Govinda overheard the discussion of Yadav Prakash with few of his intimate disciples, where Yadav Prakash was telling them that you see, we will kill Ramanuja and we will bury him, and then we will take bath in Ganges and get rid of our sins. They were planning like this. And then Govinda heard this, he was like terrified. He came and told Ramanuja, see, this is the plan that is going on. So better you leave this place and run away. So that very night, Ramanujacharya started, running away from that place. And he was going through forest, and he was a small child, and it was dense forest. There was nobody to show which way to go and all. But still, Ramanujacharya kept moving, and he was entering from denser to denser forest areas, where sunlight was also even not reaching. And suddenly, over there, Ramanujacharya saw a hunter and his wife. And this hunter was like very ghastly looking. He was like black in color, very tall, very well built, very like huge and black. He was looking like a Yamduta. And his wife was also there. They came in that forest to kill wild animals. So they asked Ramanujacharya, what are you doing? You are a small child. Why are you in the forest? And then he said, I am going back to my hometown, to my parents. Ramanujacharya said, I just got lost. So then they told Ramanujacharya, okay, fine, you come with us. And they took Ramanujacharya by his hand, and after walking some distance, then Ramanujacharya said, I am feeling very thirsty. Then the wife of this hunter, she was like very caring. She said, you come, there is a well nearby. We will give you water from here. So then they reached the well, and then they showed Ramanujacharya, say, this is the well, you can quickly drink water, and then we'll move forward. So when Ramanujacharya went forward, it was like a junction of a forest and a village. So he went to drink water, and when he just turned back, he saw this Vyad, this hunter and his wife was missing. They were not there anymore. Ramanujacharya was shocked. What happened? So then he found few people are walking here and there, and he asked, "Which is this place?" Then they said, "Are you don't know? This is Srirangam only, right? Sorry, this is Kanchipuram. This is Kanchipuram only." So Ramacharya thought, how come I came so fast? Like I was in North India, like in few hours I reached Kanchipuram. So then Ramacharya understood that, realized that that hunter was Vishnu and his wife was Lakshmi Devi, got the divine revelation in his heart. And he felt so bad that he had the opportunity to have the darshan of Lakshmi and Vishnu, but he could not serve them. Instead, he took service from them. And in this way, he just came back. And over there, Yadav Prakash thought that where is Ramanuja? Where is Ramanuja? He started searching for. Then somebody told that he is missing. So then they considered that wild animals must have eaten Ramanuja. So they thought, okay, we got relief from this much sin of Brahma Hatya. This wild animals did our job. So we'll take bath in Ganges and come back. So after coming back to Kanchipuram, they started cooking up stories. That you see Ramanuja, he just got lost, wild animals killed him. So we are very sorry, we are feeling great separation from him. And when they said like this, then the inhabitants of Kanchipuram, they said that, no, no, Ramanuja is here only. They said, here only. They was like shocked. And then Yadav Prakash went and begged forgiveness from Ramanuja that please forgive me. I realized that you are a blessed soul, but I could not recognize you. And then Ramanuja immediately forgave him and told him that you see the interpretation that you are giving, that is Mayavad. You become a good devotee. So in this way, Ramanujacharya forgave Yadav Prakash. So when he grew up, Ramanujacharya was naturally very, very famous because of his scholarliness. And the princess of Kanchipuram, she was haunted by a ghost, and that was a Brahma Rakshasa. And Brahma Rakshasas are very, very powerful, very difficult to overcome. Like no chota mota process, jhar fook will act on them. So a lot of things were applied to the Brahma Rakshas, but the Brahma Rakshas said, "You see, I'm not going to go away like this. You have to call Ramanuja, and when Ramanujacharya will place his feet on me, that means on this princess, then I will leave this princess." In this way, we also know that in Mayapur also there was like a Brahma Rakshasa, and Janivas Prabhu still told the story that many things were done to get rid of the Brahma Rakshas. And then even Rishima Arati was like quoted, Namaste Narasimha was sung in front of him. And when it was said Namaste Narasimha, the Brahma Rakshasa repeated, Prahlad Allah the Daine. He was also speaking. Then it was asked to him, Are, how will you go away? Then he said, Take me to Puri. Then I will leave this person and I'll go away. So it was done and then he actually left. So these Brahma Rakshas are very potent host. So then Ramanujacharya was called, and as humble Ramanujacharya was, he was very reluctant. He said, No, no, how can I place my feet on the princess? Then the king pleaded. He said, No, please, you please come. There is no other way. So Ramanujacharya came and he placed his feet, and immediately the Brahma Rakshasa relieved this princess and went away. In the meantime, once Yamunacharya, the great stalwart Vaishnava of Sri Sampradaya, who was actually a Brahmana, but later became a king, and later again become a renunciant, and that is a very long story. So I'm just skipping that one here. So he was like very famous. He visited Kanchipuram with his disciples, and he saw Ramanujacharya. And right after seeing Ramanujacharya, he was like very happy. He felt that this is Shesha avatar. This is like the incarnation of Shesha, Ananta Shesha. If we go to Lakshmi Devi Mandir in Jagannath Puri, so there is a very beautiful picture of Ramanujacharya over there. Like Ramanujacharya is sitting with his danda and Sheshnag there at the back of Ramanujacharya. Very beautiful depiction. So Yamunacharya realized this. But then Yamunacharya saw that he is sitting with Yadav Prakash. So Yamunacharya was very alarmed. He told his disciples that you rescue this Ramanujacharya from the clutches of Yadav Prakash. So after some days, when Yamunacharya was on his deathbed, one of his disciples came running to Ramanujacharya and asked him that you please come and meet Yadav Prakash, sorry, Yamunacharya. He is on his deathbed and he wanted to meet you, he wanted to see you. So Ramanujacharya came running, but by the time he reached over there, he found Yamunacharya has already passed away, he has already left. So then Yamunacharya, like Ramanujacharya saw that the fingers, three fingers of his hand was like clasped of Yamunacharya. So he asked, "Is this normally Yamunacharya does like this?" Then they say, "No, it is like something special that has happened." So then Ramanujacharya he said, "Okay, fine, I'll take three vows now." And then he took the vow that I will purify all the conditioned souls by giving them Pancharatrika Vidhi of the worship of Sri Vigraha. And in that way, I'll bring them closer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he took this vow, the first finger opened. Then he said, I'll write Sri Bhasya on Vedanta Sutras in the line of Sri Sampradaya. Then the second finger opened. And then he said, to repay the debt of Parashara Muni, I'll rename one of my disciples as Parashar and make him a Parangat, a Veda Visharad, and a pinnacle of devotional understanding. When he said this, the third finger opened of Yamunacharya. And everybody started doing Jai Jaikar. So in this way, Ramanujacharya pleased Yamunacharya even after Yamunacharya passed away. So here is a very nice teaching that we can get from the life of Ramanujacharya, that one has the opportunity to please his spiritual master in every situation of life. So then we see that Ramanujacharya was like very dynamic acharya. He's a very very dynamic acharya. The four acharyas whom we see, like yesterday was Madhavacharya's disappearance, today is Ramanujacharya's disappearance, then Vishnu Swami and Nimbarkacharya. Four of them are extremely brilliant, and they did very unconventional thing and established the supremacy of devotional service. That is the reason they all are very special. So Ramanujacharya, he took initiation from two personalities in prominence. One is Mahapurna and one is Kanchipurna. So Mahapurna was a very stalwart Brahmana, and Mahapurna told him that, you see, I'm giving you a mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, and you should not speak this mantra to anyone. This is a very secret mantra, and whenever somebody hears this mantra, he will go back home, back to God. And if you do not follow my words, you will go to hell. So right after receiving this mantra, Ramanujacharya ran to a very place which is of a great height, and from there he started shouting so that everybody assembled near that. So everybody assembled near that, and Ramanujacharya started speaking this mantra from the top. Om Namo Narayanaya. He spoke, and everybody was like speaking this mantra. And his Guru Mahapurna was like aghast. He said, "Why are you doing this? I told you. I told you you should not speak this mantra without qualification. You will go to hell because of this." And Ramanujacharya, he was so merciful. He said that, yes, I'm ready to go to hell for all of them, but let them go back home, back to God. And Mahapurna's heart completely changed seeing Ramanujacharya. And Mahapurna was like, he became so grateful, and he was so inspired from Ramanujacharya that we will see that he goes with Kuresh later, and he also got his eyes destroyed by this Chola king in the assembly where Shiv and Vishnu supremacy were debated upon. And then Ramanujacharya took initiation from Kanchipurna, who is like a Shudra as per the Varnashram system. But still, Ramanujacharya took initiation from Kanchipurna and established that Vaishnavas are beyond caste, creed, and religion. Like it is mentioned, Chandalapi Dijasreshta Hari Bhakti Parayana. When a Chandal, he is better than a Dvijasreshta, he is better than a Brahmana if he is Hari Bhakti Parayana. And the same thing, this Mother Devahuti also told to Kapil Muni. The shloka is, no, not that one. Yes. Yes, Brahmanujacharya. So one who touches the holy name with his tongue, he gets purified. Like it is to be understood that he has fulfilled all the rituals given in Vedic scriptures, all the tapa, yagya, everything he has finished. So Ramanujacharya wanted to establish this, that Kanchipurna was such an elevated personality, and but still he was a Shudra. Still Ramanujacharya took initiation from him, and also Ramanujacharya took initiation from Shailapurna, which is like a very special thing. And this three initiation, if we see that these are just not mantra diksha, these are also very much shiksha that he is taking. So Shailapurna, he told the entire Ramayana to Ramanujacharya, and in this way is also considered a diksha for Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya established this Vishishta Advaitavad over this Kevala Advaitavad or Vivartavad of Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya, when he gave this philosophy of Vivartavad or Kevala Advaitavad, it is a perverted explanation of the Parinamvad which is spoken in Vedic scriptures. So Parinamvad actually means that Brahman, it it is expanding as Jagat, right? It is expanding as Jagat. Like Krishna told to Brahmaji, Rite Artham Ya Pratiyeta Na Pratiyeta Chatmani. Krishna says that whatever you see, that is my expansion only. So in that way, Brahman or spiritual substance becomes Jagat. So this is the explanation. But Ramanujacharya added some perversion to it, and thereby he transformed Parinamvad into Vivartavad. He said this is not a Parinam, this is not a end result, this is a contamination. How he said contamination? He said when Brahma comes in contact with Sattva Gun, it becomes the demigods, devatas. When Brahman comes in contact with Rajogun, it becomes human beings. And when it comes in contact with Tamogun, it becomes animal or trees and these kind of things. So this kind of Parinamvad or Vishishta or Kevala Dvaitavad, Vivartavad, Shankaracharya spoke, and he gave two examples. He said, just like he said, this world does not exist. This is Brahman only, it is illusion. So he gave the philosophy of illusion. That is the reason his philosophy, Shankaracharya's philosophy, is also called Mayavad, where Maya is like in the precedence. Maya is given more importance. So there Shankaracharya spoke about mirage, that in mirage we do not, water do not exist, but we see water over there. Or like he gave another example that sometimes we fear a rope to be a snake in darkness. So the snake do not exist, but the rope exists. So that's the illusion. But Ramanujacharya refuted it from a very special verse which Prabhupada has quoted many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is like Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Vahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. Right, with this verse from Chandogya Upanishad, Ramanujacharya refuted Shankaracharya. He said that Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. That means that one personality is taking care of many, many living entities. So that means there is a eternal difference between them. So this Jagat is basically not illusion, but it's a reflection of the actual the reality, which is spiritual world. And then he took this particular example, mirage and snake and rope. He said, yes, in mirage, water do not exist, but water exists somewhere. That is the reason there is an experience of water, and that is the reason the mistake of seeing warm sand as water is happening. Similarly, the snake is not present here, but the snake exists somewhere. That is the reason this experience of snake is there, and that is the reason the rope is mistaken to be as snake. So in this way, Ramanujacharya established Vishishta Advaitavad, in which he mentioned that spiritual reality is the actual reality, and this world is just a reflection of that spiritual reality. The same thing which is spoken in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita with the inverted reflection of the tree, right? So Ramanujacharya had many, many stalwarts and amazing disciples, and one of them was like when once Ramanujacharya was took bath in Kunda with his disciples, and he was coming out, and there the procession of Ranganathji was going on. Ranganath was going on, and there he saw a zamindar, a very rich person. He was like standing over there, and his like lover, like kind of girlfriend, who was like a prostitute kind of, so she was seeing this procession of Ranganath, and this man was seeing this lady, and he was so infatuated seeing the lady and her beauty that there was some sunshine, and this lady was perspiring. So this man with his uttari, he was covering this lady so the sunshine would not fall on her. And Ramanujacharya was like, what he is doing? Ranganathji is passing in his beautiful procession, such beautiful procession. When we were in Tirupati, we heard three examples. I'm forgetting the two. Just one I'm remembering. He said, if you want to see how Lord walks, one should come to Srirangam. There, the way Lord moves, that is like Lord's walking. Very gracefully, Lord moves. Ramanujacharya felt that this man is not attracted to Ranganathji, and he's attracted to this lady, so I should do something. And Ramanujacharya then came to this person. His name was Dhanurdas. And Ramanujacharya told him that if I can show you something more beautiful than the eyes of your lover, will you be attracted to that? That person said, oh, this kind of thing do not exist in this world. That is out of this world. So in this world, the most beautiful thing are the eyes of my lover. So then Ramanujacharya said that no, there is something other which is more beautiful. So I invite you to see that today evening in the temple of Sri Ranganathji. So then this lady was very interested. She said, yes, yes, we will go. And they both came. And when they came, Ramanujacharya was himself offering Arati to Ranganaji. And he offered prayers that please, you expand your beauty, you reveal your beauty to this person so that he gets saved. And when Ramanujacharya prayed like this, Ranganaji bestowed his mercy on Dhanurdas. And Dhanurdas became very, very nice devotee. He started crying, he started shedding tears. And Ramanujacharya also loved him very much and he asked that now both of you should get married and live as a very good Grihastha devotee. So seeing Ramanujacharya so attached to Dhanurdas and his wife and so much appreciative about them, few renunciants in the ashram of Ramanujacharya, they were like little envious. They said why Guru Maharaj is so attracted to his Dhanurdas. So Ramanujacharya realized this. Ramanujacharya then one day called Dhanurdas and he asked Dhanurdas that today you come to temple, you come to hear this Ranganaji's temple and you have some seva. And he allotted some seva for Dhanurdas throughout the whole day. And to the renunciant devotees, he called them and told, see, there is some poverty in ashram. So you all go and steal jewelries from the body of the wife of Dhanurdas. So when they went in their home, they found that she's sleeping and she was like one-sided. She was like this, not flat. So they started stealing the jewelries from one side of this Mataji, wife of Dhanurdas. And after some time, she just turned to her other side, and these sannyasis they fled, considering that this Mataji is awake. So they came and gave Ramanujacharya these jewelries. They said, Guru Maharaj, we could only steal this much. Because the Mataji was awake, she turned the other side. Ramanujacharya said, she didn't see all of you, na? Then they said, we don't know, maybe she has seen us. We are like anticipative of this. And then Ramanujacharya asked Dhanurdas, you may go home. So after Dhanurdas went home, Ramanujacharya took his disciples and went near the window of the house of Dhanurdas. And they were hiding there, trying to hear the conversation of Dhanurdas and his wife. So when Dhanurdas came, his wife told him, you know what, today few sannyasis from ashram, they came here to take my jewelries. I am sure there is some poverty in ashram, that is the reason like they have come to take these jewelries. Then Dhanurdas said, so I am sure you must have given everything of yours that you have and you must not have kept anything for you. Then she said, yes, I was planning to do that only, but to not make them embarrassed, I just, stayed like I was sleeping. And they took jewelries from other side and I wanted to take them the jewelries from other side as well. So I turned back, I turned on the other side and seeing that they all fled. So I could not take, they could not take. So here are the jewelries, I have collected it. Now you please take and go and give this to Guru Maharaj and disciples. So hearing this, Ramanujacharya was like so grateful and his disciples, they were like so ashamed, were feeling envious about Dhanurdas. So another very stalwart disciple of Ramanujacharya is like Kuresh, and his pastime is very nicely spoken and heard. Uh, Basically, I have heard Ramanujacharya's pastime from Radhanath Maharaj and many other speakers, but somehow I I find it little like because there are different South Indian terms, so it is difficult for me to remember many things. So I do not remember much about Ramanujacharya's pastime. Mostly, whatever I am trying to speak is from a lecture of His Holiness Bhaktichar Swami Guru Maharaj. Here he spoke these things. But this pastime of Kuresh was like very touching for me. And years back, I remember once His Grace Dauji Prabhu took us in Besu for some classes, and there Prabhuji spoke about this pastime of Kuresh. It was like very touching for me. So this Kuresh was a disciple of Ramanujacharya who was very much attached to Sripad Ramanujacharya. So this Chola king, who was a Shaivite, Shivji's bhakta, he was like the curse that we hear in Bhagavatam that Bhrigu Muni speaks that the so-called devotees of Shivji will become materialist. So here in this character of this Chola king, we can exactly see how this curse was like fully manifested. So he called for a debate with Ramanujacharya and his courtiers, like this, his courtmen, and he said, like, we will have a debate to understand the supremacy, who is better, Shivji or Vishnu. But internally, he conspired that once Ramanujacharya comes, we will kill him. And if he is killed, then Vaishnavas will all become very, very weak. So naturally, Ramanujacharya is Lakshmanji. He knows that this is happen. So it was there in his heart. So then Ramanujacharya asked Kuresh and Mahapurna. He asked actually Kuresh to go over there. And Kuresh also volunteered. He said, yes, I'll take the dress of yours, sannyasi dress. So he was he was a grihastha. And he went to this place, this court. And Mahapurna also said, no, no, he cannot be sent alone. I will also go. And naturally, after the debate was over, when Vishnu was like established as the supreme personality of Godhead, they said that we'll now destroy their eyes. So Mahapurna's eyes were destroyed and Kuresh's eyes were also destroyed. So then Ramanujacharya, when he got to know, he was like felt very bad. So then Ramanujacharya blessed Kuresh that you will get back your eyes. For that, you have to offer prayers tomorrow to Ranganathji. And when Ranganathji came for his eyes back to Kuresh the next day, Kuresh said, no, I do not wish to see anything of this world. I only wish to see my Guru and you. It's good only that my eyes are destroyed. But still, Lord, if you want to give me something, you can bless this king. So let this king, this Chola king, let he go back home, back to Godhead. You forgive his offense. So the very moment by the blessing of Ranganathji, this king died and he went back home, back to Godhead. And when Ramanujacharya heard this, he was like, he was very upset. He said, Kuresh, why did you do so? And Kuresh again mentioned the same thing, that I only want to see you, Lord, and spiritual world, nothing of this world. So Ramanujacharya said, okay, so have you taken the darshan of the Lord? If you have taken, you describe him. And Kuresh exactly described the entire features of the Lord. And Ramanujacharya was like so happy hearing that, and he was so appreciative. He was like, he after the death of Kuresh, because Kuresh passed away before Ramanujacharya, Ramanujacharya mentioned that Ranganathji gave him a blessing that whoever is a close associate of Kuresh, he will go back home, back to God and in Vaikuntha. So then Ramanujacharya said, in that calculation, I am also a close associate of Kuresh. So I will also go back home, back to God. And so in this way, Ramanujacharya showed great humility in this pastime. Then another disciple of Ramanujacharya was Anantacharya, whom Ramanujacharya sent to establish the worship of Tirupati Balaji, Venkateshwar Balaji. So that place was completely inaccessible. And Ramanujacharya wanted to establish the worship. So then he was asking all his disciples who wants to go. He was asking many of his sannyasi disciples also, but none of them agreed. Actually, all of them stayed silent. Only Anantacharya said, I want to go. And then Anantacharya went up in the hill and he made path, he designed everything, made a beautiful garden for the seva. And he also took out Tirupati Balaji, and there are many, many beautiful pastimes, many, many beautiful interaction of Anantacharya and uh, Venkateshwar Balaji. And when Balaji's Vigraha was revealed, it was like discovered, then the Shaivais, they said that this is the deity of Shivji, because he is black, he's huge, he's Chaturbhuj, he's like this, it was mentioned. Then the Vaishnava said, no, this is Raman, this is Lord Hari, Vishnu. Then Ramanujacharya said, okay, fine. So we'll keep this weapons of Vishnu and also weapons of Shivji in the room, and we'll close the room. And next day, whatever is there in his hand, we'll know that this is the form of Lord. So the next day, when the door was opened, it was found that the Lord is holding Shankha Chakra instead of Trishul and Damaru. So everybody realized that this is Lord only, right? Lord Venkateshwar Balaji. And finally, Ramanujacharya had one great disciple. His name was Parashara. And this Parashar was like Ramanujacharya really wanted to give him very intense teaching. That is the reason one day he asked to Ramanujacharya that Guru Maharaj, how does a devotee should be? Then Ramanujacharya told Parashar, you go to Anantacharya on the Venkateshwar, on this Tirumala. He is staying over there, and you be with him. You will know how does a devotee is. So he went and asked Anantacharya how a devotee should be. Then Anantacharya said, "Okay, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later." In this way, months passed by, years actually, 1 year passed by, and after that there was a gathering of devotee, and there Anantacharya told Parashara to serve prasad. So after serving prasad for a long, long time, when finally he came to take prasad at the end, then Anantacharya was very happy, and he told that a devotee should be like salt, should be like chicken, should be like crane, and should be like you. And after saying this, he just left. And then he asked her, "What is the meaning? What is the meaning?" Then Anantacharya did not reply anything. Then he came down, Parashar came down to Ramanujacharya, and he told Ramanujacharya that Guru Maharaj, this has happened. Anantacharya told me this. So then Ramanujacharya explained each thing. He said salt. What is the meaning of salt? That it is that salt is not visible, but salt adds taste. Its subtle presence adds taste. So a devotee should be like this. A devotee should be like a chicken or a hen. Just like a hen can only take the grains or the insects from a heap of dirt. Similarly, devotee is focused on seeing the good in others and finding out devotional service from each scriptures. Finally, he said a devotee is like crane. That means he's always focused on higher goals, just like a crane does not take the smaller fishes, only it wait for the big fish. And finally, he said it should be like a devotee should be like you, because you are very, very enthusiastic. You just persevered. So a devotee should be like you. So in this way, Ramanujacharya had many, many beautiful pastimes. And finally, on this particular tithi of Magh month, Ramanujacharya left his body in Sri Rangam. And before leaving his body, he had there were many, many devotees gathered over there. He gave them very nice instructions on holy names, on Vaishnav Seva, on the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before leaving his body, he said, "You all should stay united," and all. And he blessed his disciple that following these teachings, please be very happy. And after saying this, Ramanujacharya kept his head on the lap of Govinda, his brother, and his also very close associate, and he left his body. Sripad Ramanujacharya ki, Javad Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Gaur, Hare Krishna.
Maharaj